the fear of either the unknown or what lies ahead, that's all determined on how you approach things. And so being willing to work hard, put those plans together, you know, it's not just about kind of jumping into a black hole and figuring it out as you go.
What's going on, everybody? Kyle Powers here, Haven Real Estate Group at eXp Realty, with another episode of Local Legends of the Flint Hills, where business meets community. I've got a very, very special guest here with me, Frankie Hutchinson with Manhattan Family Chiropractic. Frankie, thank you so much, man, for joining. I really do appreciate it.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, of course. So, Frankie, tell me a little bit about that day, that when you were like, you know what, I'm going to get into chiropractic care.
Yeah, so I grew up and really was very healthcare oriented and healthcare minded. Did a lot of things with my hands, and you know, as I'm going through the career fields, you know, I was interested in emergency services, chiropractic care, things of that nature. And actually, when I first got into school, I was there for athletics and got into some emergency services classes, and really kind of went down that path for a while. I worked as a paramedic in Kansas City for about 5 years and found my opportunity to go back to school. And I was really able to kind of get back on the direction that I wanted to go, and that was with chiropractic care. So after those 5 years of being a paramedic, my wife and I decided that we were going to start a family and go back to school at the same time. So definitely taking it all in. You know, we knew once I was done with school that we weren't going to stay in the Kansas City area and didn't really want to go back to Salina, where we're both from. And so really kind of looking at the landscape and figuring out where we really wanted to be. And my wife had gone to K-State, and I've got a brother that him and his family live here. And so, you know, Manhattan pulled us in. So it's been a great place for us to be. We've been here since 2011, so a good 13 years, and love being here.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I mean, Manhattan does that, man. Manhattan pulls you in, and it holds you here for a while. So talk to me a little bit about what makes Manhattan Family Chiropractic, what makes it so unique, of how you care for your patients and what that is.
Yeah, our practice is really based on our own experiences. As I mentioned, we had gone through, I'd gone through school, started having a family. So much of my experience through school was with my wife, who was pregnant, or we had small children at the time. And I grew up playing sports. That was really my biggest background. And so being able to combine a career field with the things that I had been living, you know, my whole life, or I was currently immersed in. And that really leads me to an opportunity to really kind of live the way that I had, or practice the way that I had been living, so to speak.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And again, you guys have been here since 2011, and I think you've got quite a practice that you've built up here. So here at Manhattan Family Chiropractic, you guys have a variety of different services of what you offer, whether it be starting with the chiropractic and everything with that. What are those services, and how do you decide what is best for your clients?
Yeah, the biggest way we determine that is by listening. Our patients can really tell us, you know, why they're coming in, what they're looking for, and then by sitting down in our initial appointment, we can really get to the base of what is going on with them. You know, we get into their health history, so we understand a little bit about where they've been, kind of where they're at, and then where they want to go. And that really helps us determine, you know, the best course of action. And so it may be chiropractic care, it may be acupuncture, it may be massage therapy, you know, but really finding the right avenue for where they need to be and how they can get better, and how we can serve them. That's really the biggest thing, is just starting by listening. That's a big part of that. Yeah. Well,
and I know we've talked about it off camera, but I know one of the things that you kind of push is drug-free chiropractic care, and making sure you're not just shoving pills and things that way. So talk to us a little bit about what that is.
Yeah, healthcare is a spectrum, and so there's least invasive to most invasive, and somewhere along that line that patient's going to fit in for that particular moment in time. And so they might have a history of being somewhere along that line, and we're just trying to meet them where they're at for that day. And if we can help in a way where, you know, they're not reliant on certain external sources, if we can help their bodies function at their best and improve their life in that way, then that's where we would love to stay. But there is an appropriate time where, you know, if that next step needs to be taken, then we have that discussion. So continuing to be open and honest with people and making sure that they understand where we feel like they're at and what we can do to help, and maybe what services would be best to serve that, then that helps us point those folks in the right direction. And I always want people to feel empowered. You know, people that are empowered, that can, you know, be active in the process. They are part of that discussion. They say, you know, I really would like to do this, or I really want to stay away from that, but ultimately I want to get back to being able to do these things in my life and have that better quality of life. And however we need to get there is how we do that. And so it's great to have resources in this town. And so whether that's a massage therapist, a physical therapist, their medical doctor, you know, if we need to utilize radiology services or send them to a neurologist, there's all kinds of resources, and just finding the right avenue for the right person at the right time.
Yeah. No, allowing people to have an active life. I mean, that's a big piece of what chiropractic is. Talking about what you guys have here at the clinic, you are really kind of focusing on that family wellness, the young athlete up to the elite athletes and everything that comes with that. Can you expand a little bit on that?
As I mentioned, you know, all these areas of my practice have really expanded on my own experiences, and so being able to have that level of empathy with some of these people, and really being able to understand maybe where they are at the moment and what their ultimate goals are, then that really helps us go into a direction and really connect with them on a different level. We do a lot with kids and pregnant women, families in general, and then athletes of all levels, you know, from youth athletes to professional athletes. And a lot of that is, you know, looking at their functional patterns and how they're moving their bodies, maybe what their sport-specific movements or positions are, and how we can help them optimize. Because when we optimize and we feel good, then we perform well, and that's a big part for those folks. And then for families, you know, being able to be present with your family is such an important thing. And so, you know, a mom, you know, just gives birth, and, you know, she's created a human being in 9 months. And so now, what happens after that? Mom's focus is on baby, and, you know, mom's, you know, maybe breastfeeding and carrying a car seat, and all these things are very, very hard on mom's body. And so being able to support those mothers when their primary focus is on taking care of their family and their baby, and maybe setting themselves to the side a little bit, but just making sure that they're being supported in those ways so that they can be the best mother or family member that they can be. That's really important to us because we've experienced those things ourselves, and we really feel like we have a great impact in that area. And again, I think that comes with that level of empathy of having experienced some of those things and lived through those things.
Yeah. Well, I think that's part of it, right? We pull from you said it too, we pull from our life experiences. And I think you having young kids, you know, ranging from, what is he, 3rd grade all the way up to high school age. So pulling from your own life experiences and what that is, I'm sure that your wife had a lot of the pain and stuff with that, and that's probably where I else spurred from. So Frankie, talk to us about what your client experience is, right? I think one of the things that you've talked about and really kind of shows in a lot of what you do here is your patient education, right? Educating the quote unquote normal person on the human body, how your movements look and what that is. So what does that look like? Because I think you're pretty passionate about how you educate people and how well of a job you do talking to them about their movements.
So understanding why they're in our office and allowing them to help understand what's going on with their bodies, because really knowledge is power. The more somebody knows about what's going on in their body and they can have an active role in that, then that's an empowering thing for them to experience. So if they're always coming into our office and relying for us to work through everything and fix things for them, you know, longevity-wise, that's not where our ultimate goal is. We need to be part of their team. You know, they're the team leader, and we're there to help. And talking through those things really just helps connect them with their bodies a little bit more, creates a little bit better awareness, whether that's posture related, whether that's how they move, some of the things that may just be creating some additional stress that just doesn't need to be so impactful on their lives. And so as we talk through a lot of these things, we can talk about how something might relate to this, and if we change our shoulder position or our head position or how we're moving, or if that means, adding some additional walking or some form of exercise that's going to help stabilize or engage these bodies of their parts of their body better, then that's all beneficial. But it all comes down to knowledge is power, and through that they become empowered to be an active participant in their own health care.
I find myself just wanting to pull my shoulders back just as I'm talking to you on this end of it. So no, and I think that's big though, right? I mean, again, for most people, myself included, understanding that, if you're like when we talked the other day, the way your hands come in and your shoulders back, like it's just the way the human body works, I think is very important for all of us to understand, whether you're a beginning athlete or an elite athlete. So I think that's important on the education piece of that. So Frankie, you guys are down here on points, right? Your community impact, your community involvement of what you guys do as a practice, as a family, whatever that looks like. Talk to us about your community involvement and why that's so important to you guys.
Yeah, so we opened in 2011, and at that same time, my brother and I actually got involved with an organization which is the Manhattan Kanza Rotary Club, and we had sort of learned that from my dad. My dad was very much into service to the community, and he was involved with the civic group in Salina, and so we grew up going to those events with him, and that was a great tribute to not only him but also the things that he taught us. And it really falls in line with being of service to others, and that's what we do here at this office, and that's what we really strive to do more than anything is, figure out how we can help people and just be of service. We're very involved with youth sports here. So my oldest son is a junior now, but when we moved to town, he was relatively young, and so was getting into a lot of those youth sports, including wrestling, baseball, football, some gymnastics back in the day. But you end up connecting with a lot of other people in those ways, and when you make connections and you develop relationships, then you kind of see where those things go. And Manhattan is a great community to make those connections and figure out where everybody's come from. It's a little bit of a melting pot, so people have come from all different areas, and to figure out where they've come from or where they've been, it just makes for interesting, conversation and connection. But being of service to those youth sports, whether that's in a coaching capacity or helping be an administrator and help run the programs, I really take a lot of pride in that opportunity. I'm grateful for that opportunity to be in those roles, and I really look forward to continuing to be of service not only in those avenues but also here in the office. So we've been here for 13 years, and look forward to continuing to grow and just do well. So
yeah, no, that's perfect. So I'm going to make this one simple. What's the future look like for you guys here?
Yeah, the future is we've got growing kids. One of the things that I really appreciate about the way that we run our office is it is a family office. It's not abnormal for my kids to be here in the office. It's not abnormal for patients to bring their kids or their families into the office. It's a very comfortable and welcoming place, or at least we like to try to make it that way. And so as my family grows, I've got one that's a junior in high school, and he'll be moving on to college before we know it. It's hard to believe how fast that happens.
Yeah.
But just making sure that we have the opportunity to have a great work-life balance. I think that's very important, to be able to come here, work hard, and then be able to go and see my family, go see my kids' school events, their sporting events, help drop them off at school or pick them up from school. Just being present in their lives is an important part of that. And so while my kids are young, I will continue to plan to stay as connected as I can, while also working hard while I'm here in the office. And really that's a give and take with both my patients and I. I joke a little bit that our office hours are a little bit more of a suggestion than they are a hard rule. And some of that's, if somebody needs to make arrangements for an earlier appointment or a later appointment, if I'm able to do that, I'm happy to do that, just because I know that there's times where my son may have a football game and I'll be leaving early for that day. So there is a lot of give and take to that, but I appreciate the opportunity that having this office, the flexibility that we can have with being able to balance work and life. I just really appreciate that. Yeah. I'm grateful for that opportunity.
Yeah. So I want to know, or I want to ask this question for whoever's watching this video. Let's say someone's looking at first-time care, chiropractic care, right? Because there's a lot of different sides of the coin, right, that people think about. So for somebody who's thinking about chiropractic care for the first time, what would you like to say to them?
Yeah, I love that opportunity. And part of the reason is, when you're ready, I'll be here for you. I'm not a pushy person. I again want things to be directed by the patient with my guidance is the biggest thing. I'm not real pushy when it comes to that, so I would like to say, when you're ready, I'll be here for you. So when somebody has not been to a chiropractic office, a big thing is the unknown. What is going to happen? What's the process going to look like? And so that's again where our communication comes in a big way, so that they know when they come in. We kind of explain the process. When we first sit down, we go through their health history, figure out what's going on with them, what sort of things that we can improve. And I always say we're going to start kind of looking through some of these things, whether it's your movement patterns or how your joints and muscles are balanced or imbalanced, and how we can address that. And these are the ways that we can accomplish that. And so as we get into somebody that has not had a chiropractic adjustment, it's as simple as explaining the process, saying, this is what we're gonna do, and making sure that they're okay with what we're gonna do. There's never a time where we do an adjustment and that patient maybe doesn't want to have a particular region of their body adjusted. That's completely up to them, and that's important to listen to our patients and make sure that we're directing care in an appropriate way. So
yeah, no, that's awesome. How does anybody watching this video, how do they schedule an appointment, set maybe a first-time consultation? How do they get a hold of you and come in?
Yeah, so one of the best ways is probably to call our office, especially for the first visit. That gives us an opportunity to answer any questions that you have. You can certainly go to our website, which is www.manhattanfamilychiropractic.com. But to call our office, it's 785-320-5151. And again, that gives us the opportunity to figure out what's going on with you, if it's a pretty acute situation and you're trying to get in as soon as possible, or if you have a time of convenience that's going to work for you maybe in the coming weeks. We can figure those things out and figure out the best course of action, and it also allows us to schedule the appropriate amount of time with you. If you're an existing patient, we might be scheduling a shorter amount of time, or we will be scheduling a shorter amount of time based on the history that we have with you. Some people take a little bit less time, some people take more time. But for always with our new patients, we schedule about an hour. That way we can make sure that we are very thorough and we can answer all questions and just allow that person to be comfortable in the office and understand, what the plan is and where we can go, what direction we can get them towards.
Perfect. No, that's awesome. All right, last question. I'll wrap it up, I promise. So, anybody watching this video, what advice do you have for maybe they're wanting to get into chiropractic, maybe it's just entrepreneurship in general? What advice would you like to give them?
Well, to be honest, as I was going through school, I wasn't sure if I wanted to join a practice or if I wanted to open our practice. And it was a little bit of a leap of faith. You build up a plan and you're ready to work hard, and so you just execute. And so the fear of either the unknown or what lies ahead, that's all determined on how you approach things. And so being willing to work hard, put those plans together. You know, it's not just about kind of jumping into a black hole and figuring it out as you go. You know, there needs to be some framework to that, and I really appreciate the growth opportunities that being a business owner provides. You really have to respond and, you know, adapt and make sure that you're going in the right direction. You know, continuing to analyze and look at how things are going and what can we improve, or what things need to, you know, be different, or keep doing these things because that's working well. You know, whether that's chiropractic care and you have a passion for the human body and helping in a you know, hands-on conservative way to help people's bodies function better and make an impact in people's lives, it's a tremendously rewarding career. And I love being a chiropractor and being able to work with people and being service to others. And kind of on the other end, I love being a business owner, and for all the reasons that we've talked about.
Yeah.
You know, not only in growing the business, but allowing that to be kind of the counterbalance to our family life. We have those opportunities.
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Frankie, thank you so much for joining me today, man. I really do appreciate it. And as always, guys, please, if you know somebody who either wants to get into chiropractic or just wants to kind of come in here and see what it's all about, give Frankie a call. You guys will not be disappointed by what he is. He means it when he talks about education. He talks about everything that you might have a question on and wants to be able to help you grow and help you become a better, just better movement and better understanding of the human body and what the way your body actually works. So please, 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 if you know somebody who's interested in new patient as a chiropractic care or anything like this, share this video with them, get them to give Frankie a call, or you give Frankie a call and come in and say hi to these guys, and make sure you will enjoy that one. So thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you do enjoy this content, go and hit that subscribe button. Go and hit that little bell so you get notified of any future videos. And thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week. Thanks.